Yeah, you can hear that. That is skipping and missing all over the place. What's up, Bella? Right, let's see if we can get Tuck moving then. I've got an old catch tray full of oil there. That's lovely. Try not to fall over that. Tuck is also quite full of stuff at the moment, but I think we'll be all right. We'll empty her out once we move her. Oh, that's where the code reader is. In the car that doesn't need a code reader. Oh, come on, off your chock, Tuck. There we go. The code reader can probably just stay here. There we go. See if we can encourage her out. I should just about fit through that gap, maybe not. Yeah, not quite. I could always actually tidy up, couldn't I? But apparently that's not something I'm actually capable of. If I was going to be capable of it, I think we'd have seen it by now. Right. Go a little more that way, Tuck. There we go. Straighten her up a bit. Who left that axle stand in the way? Just okay that side. Yeah, I think she'll come out this way. Might need to do tyre pressures before we go anywhere. Just move this axle stand somewhere that isn't going to go crash. You can see how inefficient the drive line is at this point, because that's how hard I'm having to push her downhill. Now I do want this to be the year that I actually get Tuck's bodywork done, but first things first, let's push her a bit more into the light. Come on, my little sleeping beauty. Get towards the entrance, there we go. There you go, sunlight, Tuck. I've seen that for a while. Our brake works, that's good. Let's empty her out and go for a spin. The oil level is a little low. I've actually got some 30 grade oil. I bought this at the Great British Car Journey. Really difficult filler on these. Most of this appears to be going on to the exhaust, that's fine. I get a little blue roll to tidy that mess up. Oh no, maybe missed the exhaust. Oh no, I'll do. Yeah, Tuck is probably way overdue a service. Standard, but she doesn't do very many miles. That's got her up to the max on the dipstick. So screw that back home again. Make sure we put the oil cap back on. I've still got rear belts that are loose as anything on the back of this. That inside one is particularly bad, you can't see. Yeah, that's very flappy. But I've taken all the shims out, so I think new belts are going to be needed. I have a feeling I bought some ages ago and I've since lost them. The chaos just never ends, really, does it? Yeah, left the battery connected up last time. That's not something I usually do. But should we give her a try? See if there's any life in there. I haven't even tried yet. Oh, still got some tidying up to do. These are the that's from the dehumidifier. That's the salt crystals or whatever they are. Eye irritation, lovely. Yeah, whatever that was, that worked reasonably well, probably. We will never know. Right, in goes. Full tank of fuel, showing 12 volts. Choke, not the heater. Tug versus Storm, you may recall that one. And give her a whirl. No fuel, kind of as you expect. That allows you to get the oil pressure up. Oh, we haven't got the oil pressure light working again. That might be a nice thing to have. What's going on with that? Let's go and have a look, shall we? Oil pressure sensor is this wire down here. So that looks good. Oh, that looks interesting. That looks like that's got crushed in something at some point. But nonetheless, it is attached, so we should be seeing a light going on. I'll tell you what, I can probably leave you here to keep an eye on what's going on with the engine. Will I go and give her a crank? It leaves my hand free to do throttle. Yeah, still no oil pressure light. Lovely smooth, because it's an electric motor, it's just a belt drive. Oh, here we go. Come on, Tuck. You're almost there. Oh, oh, she's almost there. Tuck, she says. That is her trademark tuck noise. That's one reason for her name. The other being that if you said that in Welsh, it would say tuck, even though they don't actually have the letter C in Welsh. And let's give her a squeeze of throttle. Oh, she's in gear. I can feel her trying to drive. Yep, there we go. Make sure she's in neutral. So there we go. That ringing noise is the centrifugal clutch shoes. They're just hitting out onto the bell that they grip to transmit drive. That's remarkable, isn't it? She has sat for months and months. She hasn't been started this year at all. And there we go, even left the battery connected off. And it's absolutely sweet. So I'm just going to noisily fire up the compressor while she's getting a bit of a heat into her and check the tyre pressures, and then we'll go for a drive. I need to turn her around so I can do the front wheel. Check the brakes. Oh, crusty. I need two hands. The front tyre's so low I can't steer. Yeah, freewheelers, not the most practical when it comes to checking front tyre pressures. Oh, that's low. That's not on. Okay, struggling to get my tyre pressure gauge onto the valve. Now that looks really squashy. My gauge reckons that's about 30 psi. There is no way that is 30 psi. It's still squashy at the bottom, which is where you want it. You want it very much to be prone to understeer rather than oversteer. So I think we will say that's enough. So here she is, out in the open. Windscreen needs a bit of a clean before we go anywhere, but the little Invacar is out. So if you haven't been watching the channel before, what is an Invacar? Well, they were built for wheelchair users or people who otherwise couldn't drive a normal car. Controls were modified to suit. Mine just has a simple handlebars with a twist throttle. You push the handlebars down to brake, and you could open this door, the seat would slide over, transfer in, then you just had to haul your wheelchair in or sticks in next to you as best you could. This was the final evolution of the invalid carriage, as they were called. Not very nice language, but that's what they were called. People called them worse. If you can remember names that people used to call these things in the old days, don't tell me in the comments. No one needs to see that language anymore. We've moved on, thankfully. Yeah, this final evolution was designed by AC Cars. This one was built by Invacar Limited, because lots of different companies were building these little tricycles, and the government said we want one standard design, so AC designed it. With We've got, as you saw at the back, we've got a little air-cooled flat twin engine that's just turned itself off. Never mind, Tuck. And in front of that is a CVT. There are pulleys going across, and they drive the rear wheels. Continuously variable transmission. So it's twist and go very much like a moped. If you think of it as a slightly bigger moped, you won't actually be very far wrong, although it's got a 4-stroke engine and 2 cylinders and about 20 brake horsepower originally. Tuck is down somewhat on that. But it's an interesting time to get Tuck out, because the 31st of March marked 20 years since the scheme to hand these out actually came to a physical end. A few examples did drift on, but most of them, like Tuck, were taken away from the people who had them because they were provided by the government free of charge. You got them on the NHS, like a wheelchair or something. And they were taken away. Government said scrap all of them. And Tuck evaded the scrapper because the body's made out of fiberglass. And with this sudden glut of invalid carriages hitting the scrapyard, they were sick to the back teeth of these things, because how do you get rid of the fiberglass? So Tuck and her siblings ended up abandoning a field in Sussex until I bought her in November 2017. So this November will mark 5 years of ownership, which is crazy. And we've had amazing adventures. We've been around Goodwood. That's what these stickers are about. Might have to take that one off. That one catches the windscreen wiper. So it might finally be time to take her Goodwood stickers off. And yeah, we've been up Shelsley Walsh as well. So around Goodwood, up Shelsley Walsh. We've been at 70 miles an hour down the A23 in Brighton, or on the way to Brighton. I've taken her back to the factory she was made in Fundersley in Essex. So yeah, we've had some real adventures, but not for a good few years now. 2019 was last year of really big adventures. Since then, she's just been very much pottering around occasionally. But I want to get the bodywork done because it's not getting any better. It's fiberglass, it's cracked in a few places. The water osmosis is starting to set in here, and we've got some cracks around the rear window as well. So there is quite a lot of work to do on Tuck. I want to crack on with that this year, and hopefully this will be the year we can actually improve her. Not make her immaculate. I don't want her immaculate. They always looked a bit scruffy in service, and that's what I would like to maintain. So it's going to be difficult when it comes to paint and everything. But this is too much waffle. I'll lock the unit up. We'll go for a drive. So centrifugal clutch engages as the revs rise, and then the CVT takes over. God, you'd never know she'd been off the road. She's actually running better than I remember, although her diff still sounds absolutely horrific. Back in 2019 we discovered the oil in the diff was so old it had all completely broken down. So it was kind of water and then a silvery mush. And yeah, that poor diff isn't happy now, but we'll replace that at some point. I believe that's a Fiat diff out of a 500 or 126, because these were originally meant to use the Fiat 500 engine, but Fiat said no, but they'd already designed it around it by then, which is why this has an Austrian engine, because Austrian built Fiat 500s, built by Steyr-Puch, had their own flat twin engine. Much better engine. 40 miles an hour, pulleys have now reached their maximum, so we go any faster, the revs start going up. As you can hear, starting to happen. But apparently we have quite enough power to keep up with a Vauxhall Astra, so we can't be doing too badly. It's a bit windy today. That's never the most fun with the Invacar. All the weight is over the rear wheels. The only thing ahead of me is the front wheel and the petrol tank. So at least we've got a full tank on board for maximum ballast. But we're going to get some grease. This will be our first run out in Tuck for blooming ages. So you notice it's the same technology really as the Nissan Cube I drove recently in terms of transmission, and then the Cube uses a steel belt and this has rubber. But it's a similar principle. There are two pulleys. The belt moves up and down the pulleys, and that's what changes the gear ratios. Trying to get around these pillow speed humps, bit of a challenge. Not the best fun in a three-wheeler. Right, so particularly a horrible junction. Make sure we've got a good view. And we're going to head to Penrhwllan. Let's see if we can get her up to the dizzy heights of 50 miles an hour in a minute. Not uphill we can't. Oh, now we can. There we go. Cruising at 50 miles an hour. I would wind her up to 60, but it's very windy today and I might die. Yeah, as you can hear, it isn't a very peaceful driving experience. But these took over from carriages that only had a single cylinder 197cc engine and would struggle to do 30 miles an hour. So these were rocket ships by comparison. Still really only designed for getting around cities, but I do know there were some of these in this local area. Into Kreuzland. Instead of turning to Penrhwllan. Oh, those belts have got a bit warm on that run. Well, effectively, these things have been replaced by better mobility scooters and the Motability scheme. That was introduced in 1977, which is initially when they tried to phase these out, but people who already had one and didn't have a car license were like, well, we need this. Thank you. And that's how the scheme ended up living on until the 21st century. Oh, what a beautiful day for a drive. So nice to actually have tuck out. Oh, stop tuck. Maybe we should remember she doesn't stop like a 2CV. We've got 3 drum brakes, which are all the rear brake off a Triumph Herald. Also used on some Reliance. So the front wheel technically has all the linkage for a handbrake. It just isn't connected up. Slightly scary junction, but we survived. The 0 to 30 performance is pretty impressive. It's a bit slower after that and a lot noisier. But here in Penrhwllan we have a very good sort of factors. Not really a car parts place, but all the stuff you need. So yeah, number plates, agri merchant, they do all kinds of stuff here. I would tell you the company name, but they don't seem to have it listed anywhere, which is a bit weird. There we go, EH Factors, done me proud. I've got me grease and I've got some hand wipes as well, which are blooming useful things to have in the office. But that's it for this one, I think. I'm going to go and take my winnings home. Plenty of storage space, look, loads of room. So yeah, that's the end of this one. So thanks for joining me on this little adventure. Don't forget you can head to the Hubnut store, buy lovely merchandise. We've got hoodies, no longer orange, just single colour. We may have blue ones available as well. And t-shirts, Tuck t-shirts, special offer at £10.20 for the next few weeks. So yeah, and fridge magnets, all manner of lovely things. So thank you very much. I'll see you in a future video. Bye.